Welcome to Shambhavi Spectrum. This beautiful February, my very beautiful guest, all the way from Oman, is Nariman Maalouf. Thank you so much for finding the time for doing this with me. And I hope that our listeners today are really going to get a lot of knowledge, especially the ones who are budding entrepreneurs or looking for some startup advice and help, because that is what you do as a senior startup advisor. Please tell me more about yourself, Nariman, and about your organization. Please tell me more about that.
Thank you, Shambhavi. It's really an honor to be here, and thank you for also your time for this interview. I'm Nariman Maalouf. I'm originally from Lebanon. I'm a single mother to a very beautiful teenager. I'm currently, yes, in Oman, but the family is still in Dubai, so I'm between the both countries. I'm a holder of Master of Science in Sustainability, Management, Policy and Growth, also a Bachelor in Business Administration. This is a little bit about me. I love tennis. I love sports. It comes to hobbies. And my motto in life is that we do make business to make a difference, not only to make money.
Wonderful. And you're related to sustainability. And that, I suppose, is where the other entrepreneurial venture that you are into comes in.
Yes, yes.
So, and your academic background. So tell me a little bit about this Sustainability Masters. When did you actually do it?
Well, that's the interesting part. So I did it in September 2018, and I just got graduated in last December. It took me a while. First of all, I don't know if going back in time, I would do at this age the master's, but I feel so happy once it's done. Because, when you are in that age and being a single mom and a businesswoman, it's a lot on your plate. But I've done it, and I'm just waiting now for the degree to come from Vienna, because the Module University Dubai is affiliated with Vienna. So the degree needs to come from there, and they promised that end of February I will be wearing the gown and feeling that 18 years old maybe again, or 21 or 22 when I graduated from university. So for that master's degree, it was actually a big challenge, because, the world was talking about sustainability, and we were all want to have that consciousness and awareness that sustainability is a behavior, is a mindset, is not a fashion, or it's not a hippie thing. It's really a survival thing. And this is how I come to know about this program with Module University. And they were the only one, by the way, doing it as a Master of Science. And I think the other university is Middlesex University, but it's more into MBA and it's more into governance. While us, it was more theoretical and research. And actually, this is where I had the love for the investment side, when I had one of the courses about social impact investment. And this is where, for me, being a business mind and a business graduate, choosing such a scientific and theoretical major gave me a little bit of conflict, like how, when I finish this, how can I be an added value to the society or to myself as well? And then when I took that course during the program, it just, I said, this is where I fell in love. Like, this is where I can be hopefully an added value to be able to target more entrepreneurs and startups in this field, and probably see how we can, be a support and advise them on how to get them ready, and probably to give them the chance to also have that touch with investors, also to be able to change the investor's mind and attention to that industry. And I'm happy that now, yes, a lot of investors are looking for social impact investment and looking for such social entrepreneurs as well. So this is how the combination happened. And because I was studying this, my sister was coming into also launching her startup, which is Waking Land. This is where she told me, Nariman, you are studying this. You will be a great support for me. And I want you to, join me as a co-founder. And this is also where I'm also on the startup side and being a co-founder with my sister for her the marketplace for Waking Land, which is a marketplace for sustainable and eco-friendly products.
So congratulations to you first for your degree, and then for
Thank you.
Waking Land, and for making sure that the whole world wakes up to this.
I hope so.
Yeah. So tell me specifically more about Infinity now. Let's talk about that, and tell me a little
Sure.
bit about what is the process and how can people approach you. Everybody wants money. Everybody wants a share of that. Especially Dubai, it's become a hub for startups.
True.
What does the back end process? How does it happen?
Sure. Of course. So basically, to come from the point where I fell in love with the social impact investment side, and I was looking also for how would Waking Land scale up and how we would be looking for investors and what is the procedure, etc. So I wanted to be at that side of the world as well, to be able to help us as a startup and more startups, I hope, as well. So this is where I come into the contact with nfinitiv, and nfinitiv is a company based in Luxembourg, and they usually work with freelancers on that, being, prepare you as well, train you, and if there's a synergy, we continue with that journey with them. So they are both they are a hybrid. They are a venture capital firm and a business advisory firm. So from the venture capital side, they do have 16 investors in their fund panel, in their pool of fund. And those investors come from different industries, especially for tech startups. As you know, the tech startup are what is booming tremendously. And they do have their own fund, which is usually an appetite between 100K to 5 million. This is the appetite of the startups they like to work with, because they chose to work with the early stage and pre-seed, because those are the startups who really need the most support and most help. And on the business advisory side, because they do work with AWS and Stripe, and they work with them on validation of all the startups that they push for us from their side, to validate the startup, whether they are ready, what preparation they need to be having an access to their fund. So we found that these programs are very successful, and we decided, okay, when a startup knocks our door, we want to really help them. So we don't want to judge them just because their pitch deck, unfortunately, is a mess. And we don't blame them. Today, I have an expert in a certain industry. You are an expert in certain industry. Doesn't mean that both of us should or must have an experience in preparing for investment, because that's a totally different expertise. That's why a lot of startups, they either hire advisors to be working with them on the investment side, or we found, okay, you're coming to us for funding, so why don't we have also, because we are like a startup mindset as well. We saw the market that it has a need. Rather than rejecting the startup, we said, okay, we want to help the startups, because at the end that help us to have access to the fund and to get them hopefully funding. So we started working with them as advisors and preparing them for the fund, whether for our fund or for any external fund. They might be not needing our fund, or they might be interested in other type of investors. So at the end, we work with them as an advisor. We prepare with them what is needed. Yes, and that side, this is a service side, so that has a paid fees. However, once they go through that program and it's validated, and usually we do have a high success rate of 90% to have an access to the fund, then once that process is done, then they will have a result for funding, whether approved or declined. But we do work a lot hard to make it an approval, because this is where the company gonna make money out from their investment. So this is in a nutshell how's the process. At the same time, being partners with AWS and Stripe, as a tech startup, they really require a lot of credits and services from those two big giants. And a lot of startups, when the tech startups build their technology on AWS, the majority do, and some of them use a lot for payment gateway, also start as Stripe. And luckily, Stripe also entered Dubai a couple of months ago. So what we do is that we do offset our service fee for them with the credits from AWS and Stripe, by giving them credits, very generous credits actually, to support them during the process, to help them build their technology and improve their platform within the process while preparing for funding. So this is, and since Nfinitiv is a company in Luxembourg, so it is under the European Union law, but we work with startups usually globally, and we are global advisors as well. I'm like in this region, and we have a lot scattered around the globe. You are on mute.
Thank you. That was
welcome.
So for the person who's the budding entrepreneur from like Archimedes, who's going around saying Eureka and and then realizes that there is a business plan which is required, what would you say? What is the importance of the business plan for them?
Okay, so to be honest with you, the first important document for a startup when he is talking to an investor is his pitch deck. It's the business plan job is only to grab that interest that was already shown on the pitch deck, which really covers 80% of everything. Although it's a very simple document, it's not expensive as a service, of course, but honestly, the flow on the content on that pitch deck is really 80% where the investor gets engaged. So the first key document that they need to really work hard on is the pitch deck first. Then once the interest is taken the attention of the investors, this is where the investors say, okay, you know what? I'm really interested. Now let's see the business plan, which of course includes also the financial plan. It's always advisable. It will be a 5 years plan projection. Then this is where the decision for funding is taken. The decision for funding is not taken on a pitch deck. And this is where we have that misunderstanding and misawareness also for startups. They think when they come to you with their pitch deck that you as an investor, you're just going to put your money there. They are totally mistaken. The business plan and the financial plan is what will make that interest that was shown at the beginning on the pitch deck to see if it's going to be fundable. Because I will give you an example what happened with a startup that we worked in Singapore. They had a great idea, very interesting. We all fell in love with it. When we came to commence the business plan and financial plan, the idea didn't look sustainable for a longer years, and it was a turn off. So unfortunately, they were declined with the funding. So to give you that example, simple example, that some people or some startups think their pitch deck is what's going to get them money. This is wrong. Second part that they fail also with, that they think that the financial figures that they prepare is their business plan. And they do something that is more on the financial part only. The business plan is a story how this financial plan will be implemented and how it will be the process. It's like a story, and it takes 40 to 60 pages. It's not that document or that small business plan that they think it's going to be efficient. And they get confused, or they get also like they think the business plan that's done for financials is totally different than the business plan you submit for a venture capital. Has the different requirements, has different procedure, has different flow. So that's why when they come to a venture capital, they lack that awareness and misunderstanding. That's why they fail. And actually the percentage of failure of startups in the venture capital world is huge. And this is why the CEO of nfinitiv wanted to change or to disrupt the VC industry. And these programs that we take the startup through, which is definitely validated by AWS, and it was very successful with them because it was done first for them. That's where we tried to change and to say, you know what, we're not going to reject any startup. Every startup can have a chance if they have the right people guiding them to in the right way to reach their funding and to be ready to talk to investors.
So the number of people who actually get the benefit, the ratio must be very less. How easy or difficult is it for you to say no to people?
Trust me, because the decision doesn't come from me, because of course the experts are the one who decide, basically the investment experts. I feel like, especially those who take the whole process, to be honest, during the people who took the whole process to, do you hear any sound coming from my side? Just let me quit the WhatsApp. No,
it's all good. No, it's all good.
Okay, because the WhatsApp is bumping in my ears, so yeah. I said, let me quit it. So basically, to be honest, all the people so far who took, because the programs have different scenarios. Some people just come for a pitch deck. Some people come for the whole process. To be able to have an access to fund, you need to take the whole process, which comes with the business plan and financial plan. So those who has taken it so far, I had maybe 1 or 2 or probably 3 that were declined. So the majority, they are not declined. I'm happy because that's why, as I told you, the reason we've done that process And because it was validated and successful with AWS, we made sure that whoever takes this process have a high chance of 90% to be funded. So that's why we don't have that decline very, very often. But those who does, yes, it's like I feel so sad because I'm in their shoes always, and I'm a startup, and I know that if any decline happened, it will be demotivating. But luckily, the way our expertise present the reasons has been really very acceptable by the startup, because they give them really a reason that they know why they have failed that funding to be approved. And I didn't see anyone like retaliating or accusing, like, you took money and we didn't get fund. No. So far, those who were declined, probably it's all about the communication as well, and the way it's really given reasons why it was declined. But we don't give them that you are declined and that's it, go shut down your company. Sometimes it might, it might that your idea better, you shut it down. Or what we give them is what they need really to improve and to work on, and then come back in a year or two and see what they have reworked or changed their model and everything. So it is tough, but as some people say, that the only 100% guarantee in life is death and taxes. So I wish we can say 100% for everyone, but there's always 10% or 15% risk for many reasons, by the way. One of them is, as I mentioned, something turned off about the sustainability or the profitability of this idea, or there's no synergy even, because the first rule for investment is the people. You invest in people first. So this also might affect, because unfortunately some startups, especially tech startups, are a little bit egoistic. They have attitude, and even if they have a multi-billion-dollar company, trust me, in nfinitiv, they would decline it, because if they don't feel that this person is a value person to invest in first, then whatever he's bringing on the table is nothing. So that's why during the process that they take, they go through a lot of psychological assessment during, let's say, the communication on emails, the video, because we do a recorded video in every stage while we do the unveiling. So that also we assessed, and we had seen a lot of bad attitude sometimes that might affect also the decision for funding, by the way. So not only the business plan sometimes.
Okay, so from the time that people, let's say they approach you first time, either with a pitch deck or with a business plan, how much time does it take to turn around and say that, yes, we can work together, or it needs more time? How much time does that take normally?
So basically, once they send their pitch deck, we do have something as a free analysis report that we do for them, which is a report very intense that looks at 34 parameters on what investors really need to see on a pitch deck level. That type of report was done after surveying more than 1,000 investors worldwide to make it unbiased for any pitch deck that they receive. That's why also we ask them, make sure you don't send a teaser, because a lot of them fail at sending a teaser. That's not what investors want to see. They have less than 3 minutes to get an interest, so a teaser will not have that. So what they do is that we, in 48 hours, their pitch deck usually gets analyzed, and if it's a working days, unless it's a weekend, it might take, of course, more. So, and then that report will indicate where you want to work with the startup. So some startups, it's too soon to take them to go through the business plan, because their pitch deck needs a lot of work and a lot of missing factors are there. So we work with them on the pitch deck first, which takes around 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half. Then they will have an unveiling with an investor or with the head of the investment team to talk more about every slide, strategize, guide them and mentoring, because everything they do with us comes with mentoring and guidance. Then if they are eligible and the interest becomes higher than the first time we saw their pitch, then they are eligible to move forward to the phase 2, where the business plan comes into the picture. And that takes another 4 to 6 weeks before a funding decision is taken. Sometimes 6 to 8 weeks, depends on the opportunity and the potential, because it needs maybe more market analysis and market research. So this is usually, so if you want to put it in all together, the whole process to take a funding decision, it takes usually 6 to 8 weeks or 8 to 10 weeks, the max. And then if a funding is approved, that's a different scenario. So on the funding, if it's approved, they, of course, there's lawyers and contracts are involved, and each country, you know, depending where the country they are in, are they set up as a company, or they have to open their holding company in a better country for funding purposes. So there are a lot of things in that stage once the funding is approved. So depending from country to country, it might take an average between 1 month to 3 months to get the funding. Usually it shouldn't take more than 1 month, but I always like to put not high expectations, because it does happen a case by case that the funding transfer can be taken. Like, I give you an example. Once the Brexit happened, every startup in UK, especially with a fund coming from Europe, because of the change of regulation, it was really very hectic to transfer the funds. So that's the exceptional cases. So that's why let's put it 1 to 3 months to transfer the fund and have all the legal and equity and valuation and the contract, etc., etc. And sometimes some startups, especially early entrepreneurs, especially those who are still don't have the experience of running a multi-million or probably a multi-billion-dollar company, the investment director, once the funding is approved, might request them to take a certain training management program with us, that they have to take it while preparing for the funding transfer, which takes a 2 weeks intensive program with the co-founders. But yes, this comes also with a fee, of course, but it is a request only when the funding is approved.
So there is a mentoring process also, overall mentoring, though there is a fee charge, but there is a mentoring process. And it's interesting, yeah, because many people here, they do say whether they help create pitch decks or whether they help create business plans, and some of the charges are very hefty. And one is always a little bit skeptical about, is there going to be synergy in, you know, with you and the organization? So when you said that you do the first round in 48 hours or so, and you're looking at certain parameters, I think that gives more clarity to the person who's actually looking at it. Let's change gear a little bit here from the person who's seeking, rather than how do you as an organization go about marketing yourself? Some of my audience are students, some are budding entrepreneurs, and let's say if they want to tell somebody more about your organization, where should they be looking at?
Yes. First, can I take less? So this is a very good question, because, you know, marketing is a big, major role from the big part that I do. And part of being a freelancer, as you know, I'm in Oman, and I've been hired by a company here, insurance company, that I work full time with. And my role is mainly marketing and customer experience. So that's my passion. So for nfinitiv, what I used to do is that I use different channels for marketing. Definitely social media and LinkedIn, because most of the startups the leads are generated on LinkedIn for that particular industry. So they either contact you, or first, of course, you can scout for startups once you read about them in certain sites. You try to approach them, and then you go to the discovery call and see which stages they are in, etc., etc. So LinkedIn is definitely the first, usually, hub to have that approach, whether I approach or they approach me. And
sorry, yes. Is there a company page there? There's a company page?
Yes, there is a company page, but for us being startup advisors is how we market ourselves, because at the end, they have to trust that your profile is someone that they want to talk to. So the startup advisors, ourselves, we are the marketing for the company itself by itself. Then I believe also in networking. So if you remember One Connect, I presented.
That's how we met.
Yes, exactly. And that's always the amazing platform. So what I do is also using different channels, like networking through certain networks, like One Connect, for example, participated, being registered as a member with Dubai Women Business Council also, and tried also Female Infusion, that's for Dubai, But this is one channel as well that I usually try to market what we do and how to be able, to see how we can help. And another channel is the B2B, which is something I'm a true believer of if you want to make more business. So what I do with B2B, there's a lot of companies who work with startups as advisors, or let's say consultants, and they don't have the expertise of a venture capital. So what they do is that we do collaborate on an MOU, and where they are the one who work with the startup and they refer it for us to take it over, whether with preparing the same process. The only thing that they are the one who have the client and they work with us on a referral fee. But it's the same, the prices are the same. And also we do have a white labeling option. So you might be Shambhavi. I say, I want to have everything as Shambhavi. And then we do have the white labeling also, white labeling service as well. So we do choose, as having to have a customer acquisition has to have different channels. Social media alone is not even the profitable way anymore. And but it is there, and it is something that you need to use. But as I mentioned, the other channels that usually nowadays actually, because of my my work that I've handled in 2 months back, or 3 months actually now. So now I don't much have the time, but people actually knock my door now because they have my profile, they know what I do, and I've been referred for a lot. So they come to me, and I always enjoy it because that part of what I wanted to be a startup advisor, it's not a work, that's not a job for me, it's a freelance. And when I joined the company as a freelance, it was a perfect match because this is what I was looking for. And the best part is that what can I do to help other people? And it makes me enjoy the time that I talk to startups around the globe. Is the best time I have, whether we work together or not, or I try to help them or not. But I have built really that credibility, thanks God. And people, I feel like I'm too much detailed with them, but I enjoy it because the only thing that they like about it, that they feel, especially startups, I know when they talk to venture capital, it's really tough. Venture capitalists have thousands of startups standing on their door. So they just like next, So what we have done is that, or actually that's maybe my strategy, or I like it, is I give them the whole time when we are talking on a discovery call. I listen to their story, which is the best part of the meeting. And then I tell them how we can help, where they are struggling, and then we'll leave the decision to them if they like that such a process or not. Because some people will not love it or not like it, and they have doubts. I totally understand. But I had a lot of startups that came back after 3 to 5 months. So at least that touch is there, and whenever they are wanting a help, I'm more than happy to let them be having the help from Nfinitiv and welcome them on board.
So do you have a personal website, Nariman, where you share any information about your role as a freelancer or as you being a co-founder of? Do you have a personal website?
This is what I have in mind one day. It's not yet, but it's been thought of. And actually, Wadad, I don't know if you met my sister through One Connect. Yeah. So she's been also insisting to tell me, do it, and this is something you like, and this is your passion. So why not? But it is in my mind and on my to-do list, but not yet. So for now, I mainly represent Nfinitiv when it comes to startups, and the company been so supportive. I've been their like ambassador in the region so far, and they've been very supportive. Although I don't work with them like a full-time or nothing, because this is not what I was looking for. I just wanted to have something that I can really do something that I like and to help. And yeah, I feel happy with all the people that came on board so far.
So it's a good point you've highlighted that companies also look at freelancers working for them in such. I mean, there are other industries where you have freelancers working, but this is a great industry. And like you said, the credibility has to be very high, your personal credibility for either the investment company or for the person who wants investment to actually approach you. So I personally think you should get your website. It'll add more to the...
Yeah, probably in a few years. It is on the plan, definitely.
Do you blog, Nariman? Do you blog?
Actually, my professor in the university we did some blogs, part of our, one of the couple of courses, we had to do a lot of blogs. And I really enjoyed it. And I had really some good comments and feedback, and even people like, why don't you carry on with it? I don't now, but it is also something that I like. But the only challenge now is the time for it. Really, I don't have much time anymore. And but yeah, but I used to. I have few blogs that I've done on LinkedIn. But it was mainly more during my master program. I didn't blog about the investment or the startup side, but it is also on the to-do list. So many things now. Now you will start counting. It will be long.
So you don't have time for blogs, but do you have time to tweet? Do you use Twitter?
I use Twitter for my current job, yes, because it's very active in Oman. So yeah, I used it a couple of times for when I was fully dedicated with Nfinitiv. Yes, I used to use it, but I use more LinkedIn for any market, because actually startups are on LinkedIn. This is where they really are. So that's a perfect platform. And there I have, yes, I used to not maybe write a blog, but I used to share a lot of tips, advices through a certain post. I love this post when I mention about the movie of What Women Want. I always love that, to represent it, that make sure to know what investors want, not what you only want. And so I do share a lot of these tips, and this is something that used to help startups to contact me, and they want to know more. So LinkedIn is mainly, yes, a hub that I use a lot for that.
So I think it might be a great idea for our audience, students, budding entrepreneurs to follow you. So if hopefully your follow connections will jump up.
Hopefully, I'm more than happy to help startups and entrepreneurs. They need that, and they can. And I don't do this for money. If they need any, just to see their pitch, or because, as I told you, we already do it as a free analysis. We love doing it regardless, because the feedback we give, that's what really brings them back. And I heard a lot of feedback from clients saying, from startups, that we really appreciate what you are like, the feedback you are giving us, because no one is giving it to us. They go to venture capital, they don't even tell them why they rejected them. And this is why we don't want to do that. And even myself, personally, I will never do that to any startup. I'm a startup. I want people to talk to me the way I will talk to them.
So some quick questions behind Nariman, the lady. What book are you reading right now?
Oh, good. It's here, actually. And it's my favorite now, My Life in Full, for this beautiful lady, for Indra Nooyi. She's an inspiration. I love her story as a woman and as a wife, and, being a mother. She's not a single mom, but I think she's amazing. So this is the book that I'm currently reading, which I was reading much more, but now I'm a little bit slow. But yeah, it is in the process.
You mentioned sports. What about movies? Any favorite movie which you would recommend to people to watch, with something which inspired you?
Okay. I'm usually into true story movies. True story movies inspire me because they are true facts and how these happen. I don't have a movie now on my mind, but because of also a lot of work that I do, movies and watching TV is not on the list. It's not on the to-do list. But I do like to watch documentaries, or if it's a true story, I definitely, once I know the movie is a true story, I like to watch it. But there are, I wish something on my mind now, but I do listen a lot to inspirational videos, like Oprah Winfrey, a lot of actors also, like Denzel Washington, when he's had a speech in different occasions. So I like this is what I put in the morning when I wake up, to not watch something that will upset me, or the news, or, the news are being very upsetting these days, unfortunately, whether in our countries or the whole world. So I just put these inspirational and motivational. Trust me, the day starts differently. So this is what I advise entrepreneurs, to not look on social media and everything. Just put a video and like inspirational that can really encourage them in whatever they're doing in life.
So I know you shared your passion earlier on. Is there some mantra that you live by, something which, kind of says that this is you and this is what you would definitely do or not do?
Okay. Well, what I would really want to not do is to be an overthinker. Probably sometimes they say overthinkers are smart people. Yes, I proudly say yes. I'm quite consider myself smart, I hope. But yeah, overthinker is definitely, I wish I can reduce. It really consumes a lot of the energy and it's not needed. I have really changed a lot. I stopped, controlling the mind. And what I would do is that, being a single mom, and I just would love all the women to know that no matter what situation they are in, they can always do it, and just to stay strong and move on and carry on with life with whatever it is. So this is maybe my what keeps me strong and not giving up on anything.
That's such a wonderful message, Nariman, and I'm so grateful to you for the time that you found today to spend with
Pleasure.
us. I look forward to meeting you again, seeing and hearing
Yes.
more about your waking land, and maybe we'll request Vada to come and join us, and we'll
Yes.
have a conversation around that. Thank you so very much. Don't go away. I'll just say
Okay.
bye from here for the time being. All right?
Okay, fine. Yes.